Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Definition, and when I was born, the doctors told my parents they had a cool son. The fourth episode of Season 7 is finally here, and throughout this video we're going to be breaking down whether they're the Sousa saviors or the Sousa losers. Two incredibly bad puns there back to back. Now there's a lot to unpack from the episode, including some amazing Easter eggs, big moments, and things that hint at what's really going on in the show. Throughout this video we're going to be going through them all, and also discussing how the show might actually link back in with the Avengers. Now obviously there will be heavy spoilers here, so if you don't want anything ruined then I highly recommend that you turn off now. Please drop a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and make sure you subscribe to the channel for breakdowns on the show week by week. With that out of the way, thank you for clicking this. Now let's get into our breakdown of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Okay, so the episode opens with the Marvel logo changing to black and white, a motif that's used throughout the episode. After the EMP disabled Coulson last week, his LMD tech is running a bit haywire, and thus we see things throughout the episode minus the bright colour palette that the show is known for. It really adds a film noir style to the entry, and the score accompanies this to really give the episode a style of its own that makes it stand out against most other entries in the series. Whether it's the horns that play in the background when certain reveals are made, the narration that tells the storyline, or even just the way things are shot, everything has the feeling of a film noir police tragedy, which is fitting for the overall arc of the episode. Now we open with Coulson in handcuffs, who, after noticing the date on a newspaper, remembers that this is a very important day in S.H.I.E.L.D. history, as it's the day that Agent Sousa is killed. According to the history books, Sousa would deliver a groundbreaking device to Howard Stark, and then become the first fallen agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. His murder was never solved, and the episode centers around saving his life. The day is also a very special day for a number of reasons, and on the front page of the newspaper we can see several headlines. One says that there are more subs planned, which would of course lead to the Cold War, and the composer Duke Ellington is also playing the first integrated casino, which shows that the race barriers are slowly starting to lower. Ellington was a composer throughout the early 20th century, however his career died off a bit at the end of the 40s before he received a big revival in the 1950s, which this concert likely helped start. Now because of his knowledge of the past, Coulson is able to convince Sousa that he's actually in on the mission. There's also a line about the Chronicom melting like the Wicked Witch of the East, which Coulson then corrects to West. I think this actually might show the time differences correctly, as in the Wizard of Oz book, the Wicked Witch of the East was also a big villain. However, she was removed for the movie, and it could show that Coulson is only aware of the film adaptation, whereas Sousa is aware of them both due to him actually being from the time that it was released. After mentioning Stark, it wins Sousa around, and the pair board a train to LA and also get in touch with Enoch, who we see working at a S.H.I.E.L.D. safe house. He's tending bar at the Crazy Canoe, and hey, still bartending, eh? Turns out Enoch only did have one job, eh? Thumbs up buttons right there. Now when the character was left in the past, we did theorise that he would be taking the long way round to meet them again, and though I had a feeling that this was coming, I was still really happy to see him back. They don't unite with him as I'd expect, but we'll talk about this more towards the end of the video. He patches Coulson through to the Zephyr with a switchboard, and we see Gemma, Mac and Daisy. I think Gemma standing there completely discounts the Simmons as an LMD theory now, as if she was, she would have been taken out by the EMP too. It was a good theory, I enjoyed reading it, but yeah, I think now we know for definite that she's not. Deke and Yo-Yo go to Dr. Linmore's house, aka Sousa's contact. However, here they find his body with his face absorbed, meaning that the Chronicoms have taken over his identity. After seeing this, I do kind of wonder if the Chronicoms are only taking the identity of people who would also die on that day, so that things don't change too much, and it could be that the scientist was originally killed around the same time as Sousa because of what he knew. There's a big Hydra reveal in this episode, and it does kind of hint to me at least that the Chronicoms, they only really go after people and take their identity if they'd be dead around the same time. Hydra thugs do show up to the house, and this does confirm that they were always meant to be there, but again, it's a lot of timey-wimey wibbly-wobbly stuff. Though Yo-Yo gets the briefcase, the thugs kidnap Deke, and they're unable to meet Coulson aboard the train. Through Enoch, Yo-Yo contacts the Zephyr, and I love how Enoch's sort of just a switchboard throughout this entire episode. I actually think that this is a callback to the original S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, as they used to do the same thing in Agents of Carter. With Sousa getting suspicious, Coulson buys time and decides to take a stranger's briefcase who he pretends is his contact. Aboard the Zephyr, they look over the device, which is revealed to be the Rosetta Stone of S.H.I.E.L.D. tech. It's here that we get our first hint of what's going on with May, and similar to Simmons, she beams over it, and we then get confirmed that, since crossing over into Izel's world and coming back, her emotions have been messed with. She's unable to experience things herself, and only gains emotions through touching other people. Her mimicking of Simmons shows this, and it explains why she had a nervous breakdown in the previous episode, as at the same time the scientists were trying to escape. Now, we don't know this for definite yet, but it does also kinda quash the May is Izel theories for now. Obviously, things could change, and they could be sharing a body, but for the moment, it does seem unlikely. Back on the train, the lead Chronicom, who took the face of the policeman in episode 1, meets with Coulson. He tries to convince him to hand over the Earth in exchange for his kind allowing humanity to have some luxuries, and I would have taken the deal, Coulson. It can't be any worse than 2020. Now, he turns it down because he doesn't trust the face-taking race, and says that if they try anything, S.H.I.E.L.D. will meet them with the same aggression. The Chronicoms don't seem to care, and they say they're changing the timeline slightly and decide to kill Sousa there and then rather than on the night. Up top in the train, a pretty woman tries to distract Sousa, but he quickly becomes aware that assassins are closing in on him, and he fights with the group before being saved by Daisy and Mac. They take Sousa to the Zephyr, who obviously has some questions, but he also states that he has a theory that S.H.I.E.L.D. was infiltrated by Hydra. Malik, who they left in 1931, had indeed started up the group once more, and used it to infiltrate S.H.I.E.L.D. as prophesized. We come face to face with Malik in the episode and learn that, under his orders, Sousa was taken out to keep the secret quiet, and though he doesn't recognize Deke initially, it's clear that Deke's in a lot of trouble. Malik almost kills him, but Deke makes him remember their shared history, and Malik lets him live, saying that he owes him a debt. Whilst that's good, the ice is still getting thin on Sousa, and they have to deliver the package and let him die in order to keep the timeline intact. Coulson explains that Sousa's sacrifice was necessary as it inspired other agents to risk their lives on missions, and this of course parallels Coulson's own death in the Avengers, which inspired the heroes to come together for the Battle of New York. They do kind of get the best of both worlds by the end of it, and through May's emotions they learn that Sousa wants to run and he flees to the Roosevelt Hotel. Mac makes the decision to send Coulson in instead, and he takes his place, is shot in the back, and then falls into the pool, which leads to him being the one left floating face down. We don't really see this straight away, and I actually did think that Sousa had died for a second, which they play with your emotions sometimes in this show. Now, Simmons and Yo-Yo pose as the coroner and fish him out, and because Sousa is thought of as dead, it means that the timeline is intact. Last time we theorized that this would lead to a sort of mirror version of Captain America, and I love the similarities between the two. Cap and Sousa of course love Peggy, but where Cap was taken out of time to go to the future before going back to live with her, Sousa is taken out of time to go with the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on their mission. Now, if you cast your mind back to the Avengers movie, you may remember that the same actor that played Sousa also plays a policeman in that. It is possible that they could slowly be setting up that his leg gets fixed, he goes on missions with them, and then is dropped off in the 2000s to become a policeman for the NYPD. We don't know this for definite yet, but I hope it's true, as it would be a really cool way to kind of just line everything up. Coulson gets his eye fixed, and we finally get some colour in the show. May touches Coulson but gets nothing, and then the group decide to follow the Chronicoms to the 70s. We know this for definite as it's confirmed by the preview next week, and also the song No More Mr. Nice Guy by Alice Cooper, which was released in 1973. Also, I do feel a bit bad on Enoch. I mean, he was just left for decades. Don't worry though, mate, I still love you. Coulson debriefs Sousa, and though it looks like he will be joining the agents, it has been said that he won't be a permanent member. Enver Jogach, which I've definitely not pronounced right, told TV Line not to get our hopes up that he's going to be around forever, but that he will be there for a while, so yeah, the Avengers thing could definitely happen. The post-credits stinger ends with the Chronicom leader going back to Malik and offering to work with him for the future. It is possible that Malik actually agreed to hand over humanity to the Chronicoms, and this is why the tech like Zola's algorithm was put in place in the Winter Soldier. Perhaps they are the AI that ends up running it, and it could actually be keeping the timeline intact just by them being there. That pretty much wraps up the episode, but as for next week, we're going to be talking about the preview of that, so if you don't want to know anything, then duck out now, yeah? So the group are indeed going to the 70s, and it looks like they're actually meeting with General Stoner, who you may remember left a message for the SHIELD members at the lighthouse. It was quite an apocalyptic message that seemed to prophesize the future, and a lot of people, including myself, just didn't know what the hell was going on with it. Now, it is possible that next episode they actually set up that message being recorded, as he did seem to be aware of things that he really shouldn't have been. This would explain how he was able to do it, and yeah, it's nice that they're kind of closing all of the gaps and cutting off the loose ends, as I think this show's really starting to come together now. Enoch also does the amazing line, "Come with me if you want to continue to exist," which is of course a nod to the Terminator. This was set in the 80s, but hey, I'll forgive them if it means we get Enoch back. Anyway, that ends the episode completely, and it was another great entry in the show. I love this format they're doing so far, and I think that the season has been absolutely smashing it. Now obviously I'd love to hear your thoughts on the 4th episode, so make sure you comment below and let me know. If you enjoyed this video then please drop a thumbs up, and if you missed our analysis of any of the other episodes then make sure you check them out after this. If you want to support the channel from as little as 99 cents a month then please click the join button below. We massively appreciate it, and as a thank you you get access to content early. If you want to come chat to us after the show, either follow us at Heavy Spoilers or click the Discord link in the description below. Every month we give away free movies to people who are subscribed to the channel, and this month you can win the MCU Infinity Saga box set, and all you have to do is comment on a video and make sure you subscribe with notifications on. The winner is going to be chosen at random on the 15th of June, and the set will be shipped out from then to whoever gets the prize, so best of luck to everyone who takes part. Cheers.